week's EdTech Tuesday video is about polleverywhere.com. This is a website that lets you poll your students. You can use it for checking for understanding, for discussion starters, or for any other way to briefly create a formative assessment with your students. On the home page of polleverywhere.com, you'll see a login and sign up in the upper right-hand corner. You sign up using your school ID. There's also a paid version, which gives you individualized student feedback and reports, but I haven't found this necessary to use many of the great features of polleverywhere.com. Once you've logged in, you'll be at your dashboard. You'll see all the polls that you've already created. If this is the first time you've logged in, your dashboard will be blank. My dashboard shows all the polls that I've created and the number of student responses I've had to those polls. To use the buttons at the top of your dashboard, select more than one of your polls. Then you can lock or unlock them, group or ungroup them, download them as PowerPoint slides, and if you have the paid version, you can report your student results. You can also clear all the results from your polls, delete them, and edit multiple polls at once. At the top of the page, the Reports and Participants buttons are only for the paid users of this website. One thing you'll want to do before you get started making polls is to change the settings. When you log in, Poll Everywhere gives you a default username. You may want to change this to make it easier for your students later on in the process. When you've made the changes that you like, click on the Change button and you're finished. Click back in the upper left corner for the polls to get back to your dashboard. When you'd like to add a new poll, click on the plus button and you can start typing in your poll question. The default poll type is multiple choice, and the default answers are true and false. I've typed a question here and typed in 2 answers. To add a new line, I simply tab when I get to the end or click on the Add a Response button. You can add a picture to your poll questions if you like, and you can click on the trash can on the right side to delete any answers that you don't care for. If you'd like to add another poll, simply type another question in the box underneath. There's a second type of poll question, which is an open-ended question. There are 4 options for how your students' answers will be viewed in this type of question. In a text wall, students' answers will appear vertically, with the ones on the top starting to disappear as the ones on the bottom crowd in. The word cloud simply puts the answers in a cloud shape. The cluster puts as many answers as it can fit on the screen at one time, and the ticker scrolls each of the students' answers across the screen horizontally. There are 2 other types of questions. The Q&A brainstorm allows students to post questions for you as the teacher, or to post ideas for brainstorming. The 4th option is a clickable image, in which you upload a picture and students can click on different parts of the image in order to answer. Once you're satisfied with your question and your poll type, click Create at the bottom of the page. Polleverywhere.com treats every question as a separate poll. It will take you to the page where you can view what the poll will look like for your students. There are some buttons here to change the settings. We'll come back to the visual settings in just a moment. To make a poll active, click on this tree image. Your students will go to a different website to view the live poll. Instead of going to polleverywhere.com, they'll go to pollev.com/yourusername, and they'll see a screen that looks like this. They can then vote by clicking on one of the answers. If you want to make the poll not live any longer, they'll see this screen instead, telling them to wait until you've made the poll active. When you have made the poll active and students have voted, they will see this screen, that their vote has been recorded. On your screen, you'll see this, the one student's answer responding. If you'd like to project this onto your screen and you don't want students to see the answers as they come in, you can click on this little eye with a line through it, and all they'll see on your screen on the projector is the answers. You can lock the poll, you can clear the answers, or you can make it full screen, which will automatically activate the poll. At the bottom of the page, you'll see that the total number of responses is listed. On the far right, you'll see that you have the option to have students reply on a website or to reply in a text message. You can also change the response setting so that each person can respond only one time or as many times as they like. The other features in this section are only available to users who have a paid or pro account. The third option here is to auto unlock or auto lock the time of the poll. If you click on the Test tab, you'll see what your poll will look like to your students. The third tab at the top is the Present tab. In it, you'll see that the directions for presenting your poll. You'll also see that you can download the slides into PowerPoint slides. At the bottom of the page, you'll see that you can edit the poll, make changes to it, and then click Save. Your other choices here at the bottom are to look at the response history, the summary table, a screenshot, or make a copy. You can also delete the poll in the bottom right-hand corner. To go back to the dashboard and see these polls in your list, click on Polls in the upper left corner. We're going to look at one of the polls that I've already created and got students' responses from to talk about how to change the way that the poll looks. You'll see that this poll that I've already created is vertical instead of horizontal. I made this change by clicking on the Visual Settings button at the top and went from a bar chart to a column chart. Your other choices here are to change to a heat map, which would mean that the less frequent responses are in a lighter color. You can change the font, type, and color. You can change the title, which is the question at the top of the page. You could add a logo and change the justification. You can change the size of the how to respond directions. And you'll notice that when you toggle off website or text message responses, those directions disappear. You can also change the background color, and you can make it an image. You can adjust the way that the bars look, making them gradient, giving them a shadow, creating a leaderboard, and you can also have it only show the top 6 answers. You can also have it show the results from the current poll or any time you've used this poll in the past. You can change the way that the axes and the labels appear. You can change the response totals to be a percentage or to be a count of the number of people responding. Finally, at the bottom of the page, you can change the way that the instructions view appears. This is when you've clicked on the eye with the line through it, if students are seeing that instead of the chart. These are all the basic features of PollEverywhere.com. This is a great way to check and see what your students are understanding in the classroom, to do some pre-reading or anticipation guides before you read an article or a book or a story, and it's also a great way to just have some fun with your students. Thanks for watching!